right, so just begin to settle in. We're going to spend about 15 seconds settling in before we tune in. Just kind of drift into the more subtle parts of your body. Close down your eyes and just settle in. Just your normal breath pattern right now. We're going to do some breath work today. So let's go ahead now and rub the palms together in front of the heart center. And then pull the knuckles of the thumbs into the sternum, a little bit of pressure between the palms. Just feel the balance between the energies. Take a deep inhale and exhale. And inhale. And exhale completely. Let all the air out. Use your abs. And then inhale to tune in. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Adgure Namah, Jugadgure Namah, Satgure Namah, Sri Gurudeve Namah, Adgure Namah, Jugadgure Namah, Satgure Namah, Sri Gurudeve Namah, Adgure Namah, Jugadgure Namah, Satgure Namah, Sri Gurudeve Namah. Deep inhale now. Suspend the breath. And exhale, and go ahead and relax the hands down to the knees. And I'm going to get in a chair here. All right, so seated in the chair now, just make sure that your feet are flat on the floor. Sit up straight. You don't want to be leaning back on the back of the chair. Just go ahead and arch your back forward a little bit and sit up straight. And let's just begin here with some deep breathing. The intentional yogic breath that I was taught by Guru Mukh is it's basically, you inhale and you pause at the top, and then you exhale and you pause at the bottom before beginning. So whatever your breath capacity is today, just begin taking some deep breaths with an intentional pause at the top and the bottom of the breath. And I want to just read a little thing here about the breath. And breath doesn't seem like much, but you're doing yoga if you're breathing. So let me find my glasses. I want to just read something here about the breath. And this is out of the Aquarian Teacher Manual. And it says, when we consciously lower the frequency of the breath per minute, we encourage great benefits. Normally, men breathe at a rate of 16 to 18 cycles a minute. Women breathe at 18 to 20 cycles a minute. And then they give examples of slowing the breath down to 8 cycles per minute. So if you were breathing in a 1 minute period, 8 minutes, and then you can reduce it to 4. And what it talks about here is the stillness that this brings on. says we hold a tremendous amount of tension and emotional trauma in our muscle structure in the form of armoring. Proper breathing, which changes our breath signatures, allows the release of armoring. As we increase the general flexibility of the body and expand the lungs, our sensitivity increases because the armor decreases. So what we're going to do here now is we're just going to spend a minute, and I'm going to time these out. And you can go ahead and just relax your breathing now. And we're going to spend 3 minutes with like a, so we're going to take 5 seconds to inhale, 5 seconds to pause, 5 seconds to exhale, and a 5-second pause at the bottom for 3 minutes. So go ahead and sit up straight. Just prepare yourself for this. Relax. And go ahead now and inhale to a 5 count. 2, 3, 4, 5. Now suspend the breath. Don't cut the breath off at the throat. Just suspend the breath. 3, 4, 5. Now exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then pause at the bottom. 2, 3, 4, 5. And then go ahead and begin the inhale over again at your own rate now. We don't have to keep together on this, but just, you don't even have to count. You'll mentally get the picture of the pause at the top and the bottom. It's a slow inhale, intentional pause, slow exhale, and bring the attention to the brow point here and just observe what's going on in the body. We got 2 more minutes. This is a good way to re-inhabit your body. Sometimes we get out of sorts, physically, mentally. So if you're breathing at that rate, you're basically breathing somewhere between 3 and 4 breaths a minute. And you'll notice, especially by the 3rd minute, the calming effect this has. Just continue to breathe. And anytime that thoughts arise, just let them pass. Don't become attached to it. Just become attached to your own experience, your own awareness. 30 more seconds. And now let's take a deep inhale together. Suspend the breath and pull up on the abs. Squeeze on the root lock, abs up and in. Suspend the breath. And exhale. And now just take a moment and feel your own experience of that short pranayama, what it did. Once again, just resettle into yourself, re-inhabit your body for this next hour. Nowhere to be, nothing to think about. And now seated in the chair, let's slide out sort of to the, not really all the way to the front of the chair, but just so we're sitting on the sit bones rather than the buttocks. And let's put the hands on the knees and let's just begin a spinal flex. Inhale forward, exhale back. Once you get the feel of it, you can close down your eyes. We're going to do this for 1 minute. We're going to begin to flow the energy a little bit. Keep coming back to the brow point. Keep coming back to the breath and maybe add the mantra Sat Nam, Sat on the inhale, Nam on the exhale. And just try to become fully present. Now go ahead and inhale to center, sit up straight. Once again, pull the abs up and in. That sets the prana of the exercise, forces energy and oxygen out to parts of the body. Suspend the breath. And then exhale. Go ahead and just get your bearings once again. We're going to begin to open up the shoulders just a little bit here. I don't know what shape people's shoulders are in, but we're going to be really gentle with them. We're going to take the right arm and just bring it across the body like this. And then take the left hand and just kind of cradle it. And just begin to stretch across the body with your right arm. And if you have shoulder issues and you can't do it, that's right. Keep it down. And just stretch the shoulder a little bit. But if you're able to, you can just take that arm up to parallel to the ground. And then just begin to leverage it a little bit with your other hand. Take a few long, deep breaths here now. And then go ahead now and take a deep inhale. And exhale and go ahead and let that go gently down. No need to just flop it down. And we'll pause momentarily at center. Just get yourself back in alignment. And then let's take a deep inhale now. And let's take the left shoulder across. And we'll just bring the right arm right up underneath it and cradle it kind of like a little baby. And you can leverage it with this hand. You want to keep your torso facing forward and put the stretch on the shoulder. Now deep inhale and exhale, and just gently bring your arm back down. And we'll pause momentarily once again here. I like to put just a brief pause in between exercises. It gives a chance to reintegrate what we just did. So let's take the hands now. We're going to bring the hands into bear grip. It doesn't matter which hand faces the body or which hand is out. Bear grip is your fingers are going to grip each other like this. And you want the fists more or less to be at the heart center here. So right in front of the heart center, just imagine there's a pin there. And that's what we're going to do is we're going to agitate the arms up and down. And be really slow and gentle at first. You can inhale one way, exhale the other way. Just make sure you're taking full deep breaths here. And the trick here is really to keep the arms in line with each other as your shoulders get tired a little bit. One shoulder wants to drop. I can already see mine doing it. So just go back and forth here. We'll go a few more times and put a little bit of tension, pull apart on the hands a little bit. This is an isometric stretch as well as a shoulder stretch. And then go ahead now and come to center, pause, deep inhale now. And pull the hands apart, but don't let them come apart. Just fair amount of force. Suspend the breath. And then exhale and go ahead and bring your hands down. All right, so we're going to move down to the very lower part of the body now with the feet. So what we're going to do is let's take the right foot and just cross it over the left knee. And if you're lying on the floor, it looks just exactly like this, except we're not going to lift our knee up off of the floor with this. So just begin to, a little bit of pressure on, you don't want to really reef down, but just, your hip might, you have a sore hip, so whichever sides that's on, you don't want to get too much in it. I would suggest if that's the case, just moving it up and down a little bit, but otherwise, go ahead and get a little bit of a stretch. We'll take some deep breaths here. You can put a little bit of pressure down. And now go ahead and stretch the other foot straight out in front so your heel is on the floor. So now your leg is at about a 45-degree angle. And just grab onto your ankle here. We're going to work with the foot a little bit. First of all, let's just take and massage the foot. Just squeeze your feet a little bit, your toes. Just give your foot a little bit of a massage here. Get everything awakened up here. And we're just going to take this foot now and we're going to basically articulate it. Just look like you're pushing a gas pedal up and down. You can pause in either part of the stretch that you feel like it. Just use this. We'll do this about 8 times. And then go ahead and pause at the center and articulate the foot sideways so your ankle's kind of like on a short hinge here. So it's just kind of going up and down sideways. This is a really important articulation to be able to maintain balance, which we're going to do some of in a little bit. So go ahead now and pause with your foot in the neutral position. And let's just take and cut some really nice tight circles with the toes. And why I say tight circles, it's easy to flop the foot around in an ellipse. If you make a nice tight circle, you're actually using the lateral parts of your calf muscles. So try to make nice tight circles. We'll do about 8 in each direction. They don't have to be huge circles. And then go ahead now and change directions. And then go ahead and pause there. Take a deep inhale. And as you exhale, sit that foot back on the floor. And then we'll pause momentarily. Take a deep inhale now and we'll bring the left foot up. And they're going to feel different. I mean, I can see right now I can't even get this knee anywhere near parallel. So just work with the stretch a little bit. And if you can't stretch, you can just, you can work your hip around or whatever you need to do to be comfortable today. Otherwise, just bring your foot onto your knee and then just let this leg sink down. You can help it a little bit, or you can just hold it right there. This will open up the outer part of the hip. Just continue long, deep breath here. Keep coming back to the mantra Sat Nam. Just keep coming back to your full presence, the full awareness of your own experience here. And now let's go ahead and slide the ankle towards the knee so our foot is free. And then let's do the same thing. Go ahead and push the gas, let up the gas. Let's do that about 8 times. Nice, slow, full stretch. Articulate the foot. And go ahead now and pause and let's articulate the foot side to side now. It's kind of floppy this way. It's nice to have that articulation though if you're ever climbing. So go ahead now and pause and let's take the toes around in nice tight circles. And then go ahead now and switch directions. And then pause and inhale. And exhale and go ahead and release that foot back down to the floor. And just once again, take a moment to line your spine. Just use a little bit of a neck lock. A neck lock looks like this from the side. You know, most people have their head out like this. A neck lock is just very simply pull the chin back in, head stays level. So just use a really, really slight neck lock here now. Get the feeling of that. And then let's go ahead now, once again, come out to the more or less the front of the chair, or just where you're on your sit bones and not on your buttocks or not on your hips, not on your thighs. And then take a moment to sit up straight. And let's inhale and bring the arms up to the shoulders here. And let's just begin to do some really slow spinal flex to start. Inhale left, exhale to the right, inhale left, exhale right. And you can pick up the pace and you'll find that you'll stretch a little bit further maybe each time that you go. Just continue just a really slight neck lock here so the head doesn't continue moving. It just moves right with the spine, right in line with the spine now. And just keep coming back to the brow point once again. Just meditate on the motion here. You can make this very graceful, very elegant. I find yoga very elegant. I don't know, it's a strange word for a guy my age to use, but there's something very elegant about it. And go ahead now and inhale to center. And then exhale, and we'll bring our hands down momentarily here. We'll take them back up in a minute here. So let's inhale now, and our hands are going to go directly up overhead. And while you go up overhead, we're going to interlace the fingers into Venus lock. So you can do that while they're down. Let's inhale the hands up overhead, and then turn the palms up to the ceiling unless you have wrist problems or arm problems. And stretch up. You don't have to completely straighten your arms. You don't have to look like me. Just be kind to yourself, find your edge, and then if you need to, just back off a little bit. You don't want pain. A little bit of discomfort's okay, but you don't want to feel pain with this or anything else. That's great what you got going on there, John. You can even, I mean, if it's hard on your shoulders, we're really not, yeah, that's great. Just continue a few more long, deep breaths now. This will stretch the spine up. And then exhale and bring the hands down behind the head gently. We're not going to be pushing the head with our hands. We're going to be hinging from the hips. Make all the motion from the abs and the back, hinging from the hips. Just come all the way forward. Allow your stomach to come down onto your thighs. And then inhale, and let's go back up. Same thing, hands up over the head. However high you stretch is fine today. And then exhale, hands back behind the head. And let's just fold all the way back over again gently. And this time, release the hands. Inhale, stretch up. Activate your fingers. Just kind of wiggle your fingers around a little bit. And then sweep your arms down through the aura. So once again, we'll want to be on the front part of the chair here. We're going to take our arms and we're going to just put our hands in the nest of our shoulders right here. And we're going to inhale to the left. And if you have back problems, you don't need to go very far. What we're really What we're really after here is we're after opening up the rib cage rather than, some kind of huge stretch. So just envision that. And we'll go side to side. So go ahead and inhale now, sit up straight. Sip in as much air as you can, take in a little more air. And then go ahead and exhale. And you can release the posture. And hands are going to be on the knees now, and we're going to do some Sufi grinds to finish lowering or finish loosening up the lower spine. So go ahead and put your hands on your knees, and we're just going to begin to do a nice meditative Sufi grind. We don't want to move really fast. Just make it like you're just kind of cutting through water or something. Just make this a really meditative posture. Keep your head level. We'll go 1 minute in each direction. And even though you're going off center somewhat, continue to lift up on the spine. Now take a deep inhale at center. Take an intentional pause here. And then go ahead and exhale and begin the other direction. And the two exercises that most of the yogis talk about to really keep in useful shape are Sufi grinds, camel ride spine flexes. Youth is sort of, in the yogic terms, based on spinal health, spinal flexibility. So go ahead now, and we're going to take about 5 circles to come all the way to center. Just imagine you're spiraling up and then eventually come to still at the very top. Take a deep inhale now. And then exhale. So now definitely come out to the front of the chair and rest your hands on your thighs. You want to make sure that the chair is stable under you, not on wheels, because we're going to kind of lean forward. Put your heels onto the floor and just come into a forward bend. And you'll feel this behind the legs. Your knees don't have to be straight. Don't lock your knees out. Just come into a forward bend now. Take some long, deep breaths. Allow your face to relax. Allow your head to go ahead and round over. Let everything relax. And then now take a deep inhale and just walk your hands up your thighs, up your legs, come back up to sitting straight again. Give your legs a little bit of a bounce. We're going to come standing. We're not going to do anything really radical standing, but we'll come up out of the chair and do a couple of things here. Try to work on balance today. You'll want your chair near you. I particularly have terrible balance because of my back issues. Also because of knee replacement. It's a little bit loose. So just come standing. It doesn't matter which hand is on the chair. It can be right or left. Just put your hand on the back of the chair there. We just basically want to use it for a little bit of balance. And make sure your area is clear, nothing to fall on, nothing to trip on. Like I said, we're not going to do anything real radical. So go ahead now and take a deep inhale and just bring your leg up. You can put it on the thigh somewhere here. You can just bring it into a kickstand. Let me show you what a kickstand looks like. It depends on your strength and your balance. A kickstand looks like this. Your toes on this foot are still on the ground. Okay, so that's one option. With a chair for balance, so we shouldn't have any real problem, I don't think. But if you do, just go into a kickstand. Okay, so now just bring that leg up to wherever it comes. You don't, I mean, I have a lot of flexibility, especially in this knee, but just bring it up somewhere where you're going to challenge your balance just a little bit. And then, play around a little bit with your balance. Take your hand and, take it off the chair, see how you're doing. Just make sure that you're really close to the chair and it's available to you. Like I say, I have terrible balance. We'll go ahead and hold this just for a little bit more. It's basically tree pose, but we won't bring our hands into it. I don't want anybody to trip and fall. But just test your balance at times. It's good to have balance. I'd never pass a Dewey test, stone cold sober. Now go ahead and drop that foot to the floor. And then you can move the chair to the other side, or you can turn around. Either way, your option. Just go ahead and shake your legs out a little bit now. And we'll do exactly the same thing on the other side. So let's go ahead and bring the other foot up now. And then, like I say, just wherever it comes, you can be just kickstanded too with your toes on the ground. Then you can move your arms some. But otherwise, just play with the balance a little bit on a single leg. I have much better balance on this leg than the other leg, which isn't uncommon. Anytime you need to come out of it, come out of it. Just keep the breath full. Now go ahead and drop that foot back down to the floor. And let's just move the chair off to the side out of the way. We won't need that for a couple minutes again yet. And from a standing position now, we're going to begin a heart opening series. So some people call it bang the gong. I mean, some people call it sowing seeds, but we're basically starting one hand at the heart, one hand out. It doesn't matter which hand you start with. One hand is parallel to the floor. And we're just going to begin to twist from side to side and bring a hand to the heart center and stretch and look sort of around back at the hand. Follow your hand. Concentrate on your hand. You can concentrate on your hand even if your eyes are closed. You have really good awareness of where your hands are, probably more so than any other part of your body. Just continue sowing seeds or banging the gong, whatever you like to think about. Nice meditative Tai Chi sort of movement. And with this one, you can go ahead and turn your head and look at the hand and just sow a couple more handfuls of seeds. And then go ahead now and bring both hands to heart center. And if it's available to you, go ahead and close your eyes now. Close your eyes down and just feel the muscles working back and forth to shift for balance. All the little stabilizer muscles that work in your calves and in your feet. Become aware of all the muscles that right now that are holding you in balance. All the little firings that go on. And we want to try to bring a complete stillness to everything now. So if your eyes are open, go ahead and close your eyes unless you need it to maintain balance. And we're going to go ahead now and we're going to quit moving the eyes too. We're going to try for 1 minute in mountain pose to bring complete stillness to everything except for the little muscles that are firing to keep us balanced. Keep the eyes straight ahead or wherever, but try not to move the eyes. Try to even still the eyes. Just think of complete stillness. Maybe you can feel your heartbeat. Now take a deep inhale and stretch the arms right straight up overhead. Stretch up. Stretch through the entire body as if you could add some space into the vertebrae, which you can, and then sweep your arms down through the aura. Shake your feet out. Come back to still. And let's just take the legs slightly wider than the hips. And we're going to do a series of front bends here. We're going to be, I got to turn the ceiling fan off. I'm going to end up hitting my hand in the ceiling fan. I've done that once. Okay, so just come standing now with your feet maybe 16, 18 inches apart. And let's take the hands now. We want the hand, what we want is we want the hands to kind of stay flat out. We're going to take the hands as if we're holding up the ceiling, up overhead, deep inhale, and then just gently bend forward. You can bend the knees here. It's fine, bend the knees. And just come to wherever you come to. And then inhale back up. Remember the palm thing. Keep the palms up to the ceiling and down towards the floor. And then look up at the palms, lean into the backspace just a little bit. And then exhale and go ahead and come all the way back over. Hands on the floor, fingers, wherever they come. Maybe they only come to your knees. Maybe they only come to your thighs. That's fine. And then inhale, let's go back up overhead one more time. Stretch the palms back towards the body. And then exhale and sweep down through the aura. And we'll take just a moment there. Give your legs a shake. We'll be coming down seated again momentarily. So just come standing nice and tall, your best mountain pose once again. And I'll turn sideways so you can see a little better. We're going to take the hands and interlace the fingers behind us in Venus lock. And you can see how it kind of naturally forces the chest out. That's sort of what we want. We don't want like this. We want the shoulders rounded back. And we're just going to begin, once again, we're not going to be rounding. We're just going to hinge only from the hips. And our hands, for the most part, are going to stay flat on the back, right where they are. Just open the shoulders up, take a deep inhale. And as you exhale, just come over into a tight L shape, 90-degree L shape. You can bend your knees and just imagine stretching out through the tailbone and through the top of the head. See if you can leverage it a little bit. That's why we have our arms interlaced, our hands interlaced. You can actually leverage a little bit here. And then inhale and come gently back up to center once again. We'll go into that posture one more time here. So go ahead and shake your legs out, whatever you need to do to be comfortable. And let's go ahead and inhale, shoulders back, chest out. And just come gently down into a really nice tight L shape. And if you want a little more challenge, you can raise your arms up to the ceiling. If not, just leave them right where they are. You can stretch up and back. On your head, you should be looking directly at the floor. Now go ahead and inhale and come back up to center and exhale. And let's come back seated once again. I know I said it'd be an all chair yoga class, but looks like everybody can stand all right. So we'll come back seated again now. And let's once again, we're going to relax now for a moment. We're going to begin to get ready for deep meditation, but just find yourself as relaxed as you possibly can, sitting up straight, slight little neck lock. And just begin to breathe normally again. Let your breath come back to a normal resting pattern. And we're going to do a breath now. It's a pranayama called Sitali Pran. And either you can roll your tongue or you can't. You'll know that right away. So what you do is you roll your tongue into an O shape, and your tongue is out just a little bit. And you're actually breathing through that little opening in the curl of the tongue. So you're breathing in through that. You're taking air across the entire surface of the tongue, and then you're going to exhale through the nose. And we're going to do this for about 4 minutes here, 3 minutes. So go ahead and now just begin that. Roll your tongue. And if you can't roll your tongue, just make your mouth into an O shape. If it's too uncomfortable on your tongue, just make your mouth into an O shape and just breathe air across the entire surface of the tongue. And then exhale through the nose. This is a really good detoxing breath. And once again, come fully present with your own breath. Whatever your awareness of this experience might be, maybe it seems kind of dumb. This is actually a very old yogic practice. And make the breath lengthen out, make it nice and slow. Feel the cooling on the tongue. This is a great pranayama if you're an alcoholic or an addict and you have problems, maybe it's overeating, maybe it's other stuff, but if you have a really, really strong craving for something that you shouldn't have, this is a really good pranayama to sit down and do for a few minutes to relieve that kind of craving. I've taught this pranayama to a lot of guys that don't do yoga that I sponsor in AA, and they like it. And once again, add a brief pause to the top and bottom of the breath. Now go ahead and inhale deep one last time. And then exhale. And just spend a moment now in your own awareness. Notice what you notice. And we're going to go ahead and come flat onto the back now, unless you prefer not to lie down. That's fine too. I won't be lying down, so if you look at me, don't take your cue from me, but let's come lying flat on the back. And we're going to continue to try to still everything out. Just come flat on your back on the floor. And just begin to release into the floor, the mat, the rug, whatever you're on. Take a momentary body scan. See if there's anything you can let go of by maybe wiggling or twisting a little bit, but just eventually come to still, close down the eyes, palms are towards the ceiling, hands are on the floor, palms up. And once again, through this next few minutes here, concentrate on quieting the eyes. Just see how that works out. And I'm going to put on some gentle music here to help. Bring a little bit of attention here. So just take a couple of deep breaths and then exhale through the mouth. So quiet your eyes and then listen. This is what this song is about. Sunye is about deep listening. Begin now to bring yourself back. Just first of all, just lengthen the breath out a little bit. Begin wiggling the fingers and toes. And then roll the wrists and ankles around, move them in both directions. Give them a good circle in each direction. And then stretch your arms directly overhead so you're stretching out through the tips of your fingers and through the heels of your feet. Stretch, 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 deep breath. And then exhale and bring your arms to your side in a T shape. And we'll do a cat stretch in each direction. So hug the right knee into the chest and then grab it with the left hand and take it over the center. You're not trying to go to the floor. You're just trying to stretch. Take a couple breaths on each side like that. And then as you're ready, go ahead and hug your knees into your chest and rub your hands and your feet together, the soles and the palms of your hands. Just rub them, create a lot of heat there. And then go ahead and allow the feet to relax down. And then cover your eyes with the nice warm palms of your hands. And then just give yourself some gratitude here. Give yourself some gratitude. Give the other people in the class some gratitude for being here today. And then go ahead and you can either rock and roll up and down on your spine, move your hands away from your face, and then rock and roll on your spine, or you can turn to one side and come back up to seated. And we'll all meet an easy pose to close. All right, so we'll go ahead and close the way we started with our hands together at the heart center. Rub them together, create some heat. Pull the knuckles of the thumbs into the chest. A little bit of pressure in between. We'll do the sunshine song. Take a deep breath. And exhale. And then take a deep breath for sunshine song. May the long time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. May the long time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. Guide your way on. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Sat Nam. Thank you all for letting me join your practice. It's been a pleasure. May you stay healthy and may things settle down in everybody's life. Sat Nam.